Because of one small oversight, he accidentally burned his 3 children to death. That day he partied with friends until dawn. The children couldn't sleep well because of the noise. His wife came out having reached her breaking point.
You wanna keep it down, you fucking morons? My kids are sleeping.
After sending the friends away, Lee hasn't had enough, wanting to go into town to buy more alcohol. But when he returned, the scene before his eyes made him collapse instantly. The fire had already consumed his home, and his 3 children had died in the blaze. Lee was taken away by police for questioning.
I can't remember if I put a screen on the fireplace. I figure it's okay, so I just keep going to the store. Log must have rolled out onto the floor. Firemen said they pulled Randy out, and then the furnace blew, and they couldn't go back in again. And that's all I remember.
After hearing Lee's account, the police looked sympathetic.
Assuming the forensics bear you out, assuming they will.
Lee couldn't believe this outcome. He had clearly committed an unforgivable sin. Why hadn't he received any punishment?
Like a million other people did last night. Crucify you. It's not a crime to forget to put the screen on the fireplace.
He thought he deserved to die, so when a police officer walked past him, he seized the chance to grab the officer's gun, wanting to end this life burdened with guilt. But the gun's safety prevented him from succeeding. Although no bullet fired, his heart had already died. From that point on, Lee cut off almost all social contact. The trauma left by that fire haunted his mind like a nightmare, until one day, a phone call shattered this stagnant existence. Lee drove to the hospital in Manchester. His brother had died from a heart attack. Looking at the body before him, Lee felt no fear, just calmly kissed his brother's remains. After leaving the hospital, he broke the news to his nephew. When the nephew was brought to the hospital, he just glanced at his deceased father, then turned and walked away. It seemed his father's death had no impact on him whatsoever. The next day, Lee brought his nephew to the law office. What he didn't expect was, his brother had left him custody of his nephew. That evening when his nephew opened the refrigerator, he accidentally let the frozen chicken slip out. He tried to put it back, however the grief that suddenly surged in his heart made it impossible for him to close the refrigerator door. At this moment, he thought of his father in the morgue. That once warm and familiar figure could now only exist this way. In his memory, he couldn't control his emotions. Tears flowed uncontrollably. At funeral, his nephew greeted every guest. His manner showed maturity and composure, while Lee just stood silently in the corner. There wasn't much expression on his face. After the funeral ended, Lee ran into his ex-wife on the street. She instinctively introduced her newborn son to Lee. Lee responded while forcing himself to stay calm, but inexplicable panic surged in his heart. He wanted to escape from there, but his ex-wife wanted to talk with him. That accident back then had left both of them in unbearable pain. His ex-wife also said many cruel things to Lee.
My heart was broken. It's always gonna be broken. But I know yours is broken.